Hello everyone, welcome to this video. This is the third and final part of my 2019 predictions. If you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, I suggest you watch those before coming to see this video. The link to them should be showing up right now, and you can also click the link at the end of the video. In parts 1 and 2, I gave my Constructors Championship predictions, so I predicted that Ferrari will win the 2019 Constructors Championship. I also gave my predictions for the teammate battles, so I looked at the driver lineups for all 10 teams, and I kind of gave my thoughts on how all of the teammate relationships will pan out and which drivers are going to win their respective team battles. So in part 3, this will just be all of the ideas that I talked about in the first two videos coming together, and I'll give my predictions for the Drivers' Championship from 20th to 1st, and I'll predict who will be World Champion. So yeah, guys, sorry about the audio quality not being as good. This time I have to record from my computer microphone, but hopefully you can still hear it okay. So just remember, if you like my videos, be sure to subscribe and please leave a like. We're almost at 100 subscribers. If we could reach that really soon, I would really appreciate it. So yeah, guys, let's get into things. Here is part 3 of my 2019 predictions. So in 20th place, I have Robert Kapitza. But first, let me just say, what an amazing comeback story it has been. 9 years ago, he had his horrendous rally crash, and no one thought he would ever be back in F1. But somehow he's managed to overcome the difficult challenges, and he's now back with Williams. So we all knew how good he was before his accident. He was just a really quality driver, a really good driver. In fact, when I started watching F1, he was actually my favorite driver, but it was really more because of the yellow Renault livery. I just really liked it. But yeah, we all knew how good he was before his accident. But when he's coming back, I just don't think he's going to be the same driver. Not really because of the injuries limiting him, but I just think the time away from the sport, 8 years away from the sport, is a really long time. Like, imagine Lewis Hamilton taking a break in 2010. He just would be nowhere coming back in 2019. So, I mean, I think he's still going to be okay, but I think he's just going to be well off the pace. The Williams won't be that good, but hopefully he can have a decent season developing the car. So, in 19th place, I have his teammate, George Russell. So, I'm just thinking that he has been a really underrated rookie. I think Lando Norris has been the most hyped rookie so far, but I just think that George Russell is just slightly better. I think he will get up to speed a bit quicker than Kapitza, and I think he'll just have a bit more solid raw pace. And I really think this season is important. While the 2019 Williams, we all know won't be that fast, I think he really just needs to impress a lot of people and show everyone how good he really is. Everyone has been like Lando Norris, he's the best rookie. But in my opinion, I think George Russell is better than Lando Norris, and I think he needs to show everyone that, and hopefully it will help him progress in his F1 career. But I think the fact that there's less hype surrounding Russell is a bit better because there'll be less pressure, which is obviously very hard to handle when you're a rookie. So in 18th place, I have Alexander Alvin. So he was a bit of an unknown. We don't really know much about him, although he did finish third in F2 behind Norris and Russell, so he isn't too bad. I think to stay in F1, he just needs to have a solid season, nothing too spectacular. Obviously, he'll have a lot of reliability issues with the Honda engine, but hopefully if he can stay somewhere fairly close to Daniel Kvyat, then maybe he'll be able to get re-signed for 2020. So, 17th place, I have Lando Norris. So, we all know Lando Norris, but he's been dubbed the next Lewis Hamilton. I think it's a bit unfair on the young guy. I think we all know he's not going to be fighting for championships as a rookie, but hopefully he can still do okay. I think he just needs to have a solid, quiet, kind of boring season just to ease the pressure a little bit. I think he needs to be good from the outset because of all the hype surrounding him. Everyone thinks he's going to be so good. I do think he needs to be one of those drivers that's just really good from the start. So hopefully he'll be able to have maturity beyond his years he'll need to, and hopefully be close to his more experienced teammate Sainz. 16th place, Daniel Kvyat. Okay, this guy never ever seems to go away. Somehow he is back into F1. I don't know how many times he's been demoted, but if he ever gets demoted again, the only thing we'll know for sure is that Max Verstappen will win the next race. I think it's happened like 2 or 3 times now. It's a pretty funny coincidence. So this is another chance to salvage his F1 career. If I'm Daniel Kvyat, I'm thinking I need to crush Alexander Albin. That's what I'm thinking. If I want to get somewhere better than Toro Rosso, I think we all knew that the speed was there. The speed is there with Daniel Kvyat, but what he lacks was the consistency and maturity. He was always getting, hot under the helmet, always making a lot of bad decisions. So hopefully he'll come in. He'll still be the quick driver we all know that he is, but he'll be able to score some more consistent points with Toro Rosso and just be a bit more of a mature driver. So in 15th place, I have Carlos Sainz. So he's coming from Renault to McLaren. I think it's a bit of a step down. I personally don't rate him too highly. I think he's just an average midfield driver. He hasn't really shown too much that he's up at the level with the other solid midfield drivers like Hulkenberg and Perez. I mean, he's had a few good performances, I think. Singapore 2018, US GP 2016, I think. But yeah, I think he should just make sure that the rookie in Norris doesn't beat him, because if that happens, I think his F1 career may be over. So hopefully he just has a solid season, scoring a few decent points and helping McLaren rebuild. 14th place, I have Antonio Giovinazzi. So he's going to be at Sauber, and obviously with a really tough teammate in Kimi Rikknen. I think he doesn't need to beat Rikknen, because Rikknen's just he's a really good driver. But he does need to do fairly well to secure a long-term future in F1. I know the last instance of a young driver going up against a really older, experienced driver was Stoffel Van Dorn against Fernando Alonso, and we all know how that went. So hopefully Giovinazzi does a bit better than that. Hopefully Raikkonen can mentor him a little bit. We all know that Raikkonen is going to beat him, but hopefully Giovinazzi still has a solid season and can stay with Sauber for 2020. So in 13th place, I have Lan Stroll. And we all know he is certainly not the most popular driver on the grid. A lot of people don't like Lan Stroll because he is a paid driver, which means he didn't really earn the seat. It's just he was only in F1 because of his financial backing. So he will now be with Racing Point for 2019 after his dad, Lawrence Stroll, bought the team. And now his son, Lance Stroll, is going to be racing with them for 2019. So I think this is going to be a very, very important season for Lance Stroll. We all know without his dad, without his financial backing, obviously he wouldn't be in F1. But this year, he really needs to silence the critics. He needs to prove that he belongs in F1, and he's more than an average paid driver. It's going to be a really tough challenge. Obviously, he has Sergio Perez as his teammate. He's probably one of the best midfield drivers probably in history, I would say. He's just really that good. I think Stroll's going to start out a bit slow. He's going to start off a bit slow, but I think he's really going to hit his stride as the season goes on. And I think he's going to be better than a lot of people expect. A lot of people have been saying he's like the worst driver in F1. He has absolutely no skill. But really, even Lewis Hamilton could not get that 2018 Williams to look fast. So I think we got to give Stroll a chance, got to give him some time. But I think if he has a good season this year, then he's setting himself up for a pretty solid F1 career. So 12th place, I have Kevin Magnussen. So he's coming off the season of his life with Haas. I think he was like 8th or 9th that he got. For much of the season, he was like 7th, the best of the rest. And I think he could have even got a bit higher if it wasn't for all the points that he threw away due to crashes and just off weekends from Haas. So I think the inconsistency will continue. I mean, it's Kevin Magnussen. Some days he's just going to be just right up there with the top guys. Other days he's going to be nowhere, causing crashes, just doing nothing good at all. But I think he just needs to be a bit more consistent, needs to avoid some crashes. But I do think he will get some good results. I can see a lot of some 4th places, 5th places. I don't know, maybe a podium if things go really well. I think if there's a lot of carnage, he's going to be one of the drivers there to pick up the pieces when things go wrong. So 11th place, I have Magnussen's teammate Romain Grosjean. So last year was absolutely horrendous. I don't think he scored any points for the first 8 races or something. He was a bit better by the end of the season, but by no means was that a good season by Grosjean. Probably the worst of his career last year. So I think 2019 will be a bounce back year. I think he'll be just a bit more consistent. He'll have a much better start to the season. He'll be much more prepared. And I think I'm putting him above Magnussen because I think Grosjean has just a slightly higher ceiling. When he performs at his best, he can beat Magnussen any day. Whether he can get to that level or not, we don't know. But again, I think he's just going to be a bit more inconsistent. That's why I don't have him in the top 10. 10th place, we have Kimi Rikknen. So the ex-Ferrari driver is now at Sauber for 2019. And I think this is good for him. It's a better, just a more relaxed environment where he's the number one prioritized driver. I don't know, the fact that he's staying in F1, is willing to just be in a midfield team after being a Ferrari, not retiring, it just shows he's one of those drivers that can't live without the racing. I can see Rikkinen racing well into his 40s maybe. But yeah, I think this will be just a really good season for him. We all know how good of a driver he is. Although he isn't nearly as good as he was before, he's still a top quality driver, and it'll be really interesting to see him mixing it up in the midfield with the likes of Perez, Grosjean, Hulkenberg, all those people. So 9th place, I have Sergio Perez. Like I said, he is just an excellent midfield driver, consistent as ever. He just racks up 6, 7s, 8s, race on race. You can count on this guy. Just a really good all-around driver. I don't think there's going to be any change this season, and that's why I have him winning, I guess, kind of the midfield. But I think one of his weaknesses was the fact that he got a bit hot under the helmet, I think. So hopefully he has a better teammate relationship than he did with Esteban Ocon. Hopefully he can, being with Stroll can be a slightly better, more stable partnership. That way there won't be so many crashes, and he won't be losing as many points as he did with Ocon. So in 8th place, I have Nico Hulkenberg. So like Sergio Perez, he is just one of those top quality midfield drivers. He's just very consistent, very quick, just a really good all-around driver. I think with the right car, he'd be a serious contender for the championship. But unfortunately, that's never happened. He's been stuck with midfield teams his entire career. In fact, he holds a record for having done the most races without a podium. Even Lan Stroll has more podiums than him. So I think this is just this is a make or break year for Nico Hulkenberg. This is the first year he's really gonna have a top driver as a teammate with Daniel Ricciardo coming to Renault. I think by beating Daniel Ricciardo, it can just be a really big statement, and just basically telling all the front-running teams just really how good he is, and they made the wrong decision not signing him. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be possible. I'm not completely convinced about Hulkenberg compared to top talent. We all know how good Ricciardo is. He's proved himself. He has race wins, actually a podium, and many pole positions, but Hulkenberg, we just don't 100% know. He's been at midfield teams. He looked good against mediocre teammates, you could say, like Sainz, but we just don't know how good he's going to be against someone like Ricciardo. But I do think he will have the upper hand due to being more familiar with Renault, but I don't know. I think it's just going to be really close, but I just have to give the edge to Ricciardo. So yeah, 7th place, like I said, Daniel Ricciardo. I think, obviously, he's going to have lower expectations than at Renault, but wasn't the right move? I think it was the right move coming to Renault. We all know that Red Bull were building around Max Verstappen. Verstappen was just Red Bull's driver. Ricciardo was kind of being a bit more isolated. As for all the engine failures, I think it will be better. Renault is a works team, so their own engines were probably better than the ones that they gave to Red Bull. I think, at least. But yeah, I think he's just going to be in a bit of a no man's land this season, getting a lot of 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. I think he's probably going to get like 2 or 3 podiums. Race win will probably be unlikely. Probably not until 2021, I would think. So 6th place, Pierre Gastly, first year at Red Bull. I think everyone's just a bit surprised how he ended up, because Ricciardo's move was just so unexpected. So I think he was just a bit of a last minute, like, he was basically the only option available, basically. I think he's a decent driver, but I just think he'll just be slightly off Verstappen. The whole team is centered around Verstappen in the first place, and he's a once-in-a-generation talent. So I think it's going to be hard for a Gasly to match him. I think he will be giving Max a hard time on some occasions, but I think that Max will beat him pretty comfortably. Hopefully he can maybe win a race or two, but I think reliability with the Honda engine just gonna ruin his season a little bit, but hopefully he improves as the season goes on. So 5th place, I have Gasly's teammate, Max Verstappen. So this is just gonna be an up and down season for him. His 2018 season was a season of 2 halves. First season, nowhere. Second season, wow. If he had that form for the whole season, I think he could have possibly been a world champion, or at least been second. So he's just going to be really, really fast on some occasions. I think he's probably going to win like 2 or 3 races, but it's just consistency, not only with him, but just with that Honda engine. This is the first year that they're with Red Bull. I think the reliability will be better than with McLaren. Well, anything's better than when they were with McLaren, but yeah, I think he's just going to be really fast, like faster than Mercedes and Ferrari on some occasions, and other occasions he'll barely be faster than Red Bull. And hopefully he doesn't clash with Gasly too much. I think both of them are kind of 2 alpha dog personalities, so I do see a bit of trouble brewing, but hopefully Christian Horner knows what he's doing, so hopefully things don't get too heated between Verstappen and Gasly. So 4th place is Valtteri Bottas, another driver, make or break year. This is a career-defining season for Valtteri. I actually made a video about it, why 2019 is a make or break season. This is because Esteban Ocon is waiting in the wings. If Bottas just doesn't, if he underperforms this season just like he did last year, I think he's going to be out. Going to be out of a drive, and he's going to probably go to a midfield team, and that's just a huge step down from being at Mercedes. So I think he will be better than last season. Hopefully he wins like 2 or 3 races. But at the end of the day, like I said in my last video, it's just going to be the same 2 or 3 tenths. And then once you add in what I call the wingman factor and then also the James factor, it's a pretty one-sided team battle. So hopefully Valtteri can do okay, but I'm not sure that he'll be able to do enough to keep his seat for 2020 because Ocon is just too good of a driver for Mercedes to lose, and Toto Wolff knows this. So, top 3, a lot of people have been split on this, but here's my attempt to predict. 3rd place, I have Charles Leclerc. So, he is one of the main drivers to watch out for. He's going to be, I believe, like one of the youngest Ferrari drivers in history. Ferrari don't usually bring up young talent like this, but this is the first time they've done this sort of thing for a while. I think it's going to take him just a few races to get into things just like he did with Sauber, but once he gets into the groove, he's going to be really hard to stop. He's going to be really quick. I think he's going to give his teammate Seb Vettel a lot of run for his money, but ultimately in contending for the championship, I think he's going to be there for most of the season, but his inexperience is just going to come back to bite him, I think, on 1 or 2 occasions. Just, I don't know, some wrong decision, some crash, some reliability. I think that's what's going to take him out of the championship fight. I think my prediction, he's going to win 3 races. I really hope he can win his home race, the Monaco Grand Prix. That'll just be something very special. So yeah, Charles Leclerc is going to have a solid season, I think, and he's probably going to get 3rd. Okay, everyone has been split. Who's going to win? I haven't said Sebastian Vettel or Lewis Hamilton. It's going to be one of them. But 2nd place, going to have to go to Sebastian Vettel. I think the Ferrari in testing, it's looked the quickest. Ferrari are the favorites. They are the team to beat. I think, yeah, to 2018, horrible seasons for Vettel. Actually, first half of the season was good, but the second half, he just absolutely imploded. He was just spinning every single race, making mistakes. Ferrari and him weren't on the same page at all. So I do not think that's going to happen this season. He's going to be a lot more consistent. He would have learned from his mistakes. This is a very, very important year. A lot of people are saying he could either end up like Schumacher, winning in his first year, or be like an Alonso. He just does. He's not able to win, gets frustrated, maybe leaves the team. But I think what will make the difference is just going to be his teammate. Ferrari don't really have too much of a clear number 1 and 2 driver pairing, although they have said that they're going to favor Vettel early on. I think Leclerc is just going to be too good just to be like a number 2 driver. So I think that just will come back to bite him at some point in the season. I think it's going to be decided by less than 10 points, but just not having a wingman like Hamilton does with Bottas, I think that's just going to be the difference maker. So, first place, we all know who's going to come first place, obviously. World champion, I have Lewis Hamilton. I think he's going to win his 6th championship in 2019. Like I said, the difference maker is going to be Valtteri Bottas. I think it's just going to be closer than ever, and Mercedes are just going to give Bottas the wingman role to try and take points off of Vettel and Leclerc, and the 2 Ferrari drivers will be fighting each other, and I think this is ultimately what is going to make the difference. I think Hamilton, he's just going to have another solid season. Like, in my opinion, he's just one of the all-time greats, so there's no denying that he's going to be just really good this season. But I think having a teammate in Valtteri Bottas, I think that is what is going to win him the championship. A lot of people, maybe some have been saying that his motivation might be a bit lower, but I think he's just motivated as ever to catch Schumacher's 7 titles. And I think my prediction, he's going to get one step closer to that milestone. So guys, in parts 1 and 2, I asked all you guys to comment your predictions, and thanks to all of you who did. So first off, we have Jack Sharp, and these are his driver's predictions. So he has Russell, Kapitza, Alvin, Norris, Kvyat, Stroll, Sainz, Magnussen, Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Perez, Hulkenberg, Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Gasly, Verstappen, Bottas, Leclerc, Vettel, and Hamilton. For his constructors, 10th he has Williams, 9th Toro Rosso, 8th McLaren, 7th Racing Point, 6th Haas, 5th Alfa Romeo, 4th Renault, 3rd Red Bull, 2nd Mercedes, and 1st Ferrari. So these are, they're pretty similar to mine actually. So he's one of those people like me who has Hamilton winning the drivers, but Ferrari winning the constructors. He has Hulkenberg, he has Raikkonen finishing before Hulkenberg. Yeah, that's the only other difference I see. Okay, so thanks Steve for making that prediction. Let's see, what else do I have? F1 vids. So he hopes that Renault or Haas can have some podiums or wins. So yeah, podiums is a bit of a stretch. Wins, that's not gonna happen, I don't think. But yeah, if one of those midfield teams can get a win, yeah, that would be something amazing. But yeah, I can see Renault realistically getting a few podiums here and there. Haas maybe not as likely, but yeah, predictions are predictions. You never know. Joel Bates, I think that's how you pronounce it. He only gave his constructors predictions. 10th place he has Williams, 9th Toro Rosso, 8th Racing Point, 7th Alfa Romeo, 6th Haas, 5th Renault, 4th McLaren, 3rd Red Bull, 2nd Ferrari, and 1st Mercedes. So the thing that sticks out to me at first, he has McLaren at 4th. So they look pretty good in testing, but testing it's never accurate. I'd have McLaren finishing in 8th or 9th. But yeah, if McLaren can finish 4th, I've seen some people say that'll be quite impressive. I don't think it will happen personally, but again, predictions are predictions. You never know at the end of the day. He has Racing Point coming in 8th, though. I don't know. You never know. Racing Point weren't that good in testing, so yeah, these are also sensible predictions. F1TW11. He says that he's going for Hamilton as world champion. Yeah, well, that's what I said also. I'm actually a Vettel fan. My prediction is Hamilton's going to win, but yeah, you got to stay unbiased when you're doing YouTube. So yeah, he thinks again. Another person saying that Hamilton's gonna win the drivers, but Ferrari's gonna win the constructors. Yep, he also said, I think Ferrari will be the constructors champions because I think they have the best driver lineup on the grid, and it looks like a faster car. Yep, those. Yep, can't. Yep, completely true. Had the fastest car in testing. Yes, I agree with you. They do have the best lineup in Vettel and Leclerc. In my opinion, it's better than Hamilton and Bottas. So thanks for your predictions. HRT underscore speed dash. These are his driver's predictions. He has Kapitza, with sadly in brackets. I know it's sad. 19th Russell, Alvin, Kvyat, Norris, Sainz, Stroll, Magnussen, Giovinazzi, Perez, Grosjean, Raikkonen, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Ricciardo, Bottas, Verstappen, Leclerc, Vettel, and Hamilton winning it all. Constructors Championship, he has Williams in 10th, 9th Toro Rosso, 8th McLaren, 7th Racing Point, 6th Haas, 5th Sauber, 4th Renault, 3rd Red Bull, 2nd Mercedes, and he has Ferrari winning the Constructors. Again, another person with Hamilton winning the drivers and Ferrari winning the constructors. This seems to be like the consensus prediction. Although I have seen a lot of people going for Vettel, but I just think that Leclerc is going to be taking points off of him this season. So yeah, guys, thanks to all of you who commented your predictions. Really appreciate it. And that's going to do it for my 2019 prediction series. I was able to get it done just in time before the season starts in 5 days' time. So yeah, sorry that the video was a bit longer this time. It was a bit different. I usually script my videos, but this was just the first time in a while I just pressed record and I just started speaking. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, if you like my videos, please remember to like, subscribe. It will help me to get to 100 subscribers. I would really appreciate that. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.